Hi there. Welcome to the Founder's Journey, where founders don't just arrive, they evolve. Today, we're going to be looking at the subject of why most startup advice actually fails. What's the reason? Well, I think one of the major reasons is because the advice may not be wrong in itself, but is simply given to the founder at the wrong stage. Because if a founder is not at the stage in which they can implement that idea is going to fail. That advice is not going to work because the founder is receiving the advice at the wrong stage. Okay, let's look at what I'm actually referring to. If you think about this, the problem is not that the advice is bad. No, if a founder has no customers, and you're talking to the founder about maybe scaling, that's a waste of time because the founder is not able to use that information at that specific time. If a founder has 100 employees, then they need a system, they need to be able to delegate, and they need a leadership structure. So most advice generally assumes that every founder is at the same stage, that every founder can use email marketing. Well, whilst that's true, that every founder can use email marketing may not be effective for the founder who's still at the explorer stage. So let's take a look at the founder's journey itself. The founder's journey has 5 stages. Number 1 is the explorer stage. The second is the builder stage. The third is the operator stage. The fourth is the growth founder stage. And the fifth is the visionary founder stage. All right. Now, let's consider this. Somebody who is in the explorer stage, somebody who just started, somebody who's just looking at what business they could start, that person is thinking about, okay, what business can I start right now? They're searching for the right idea. They're thinking, what is the right opportunity for me? By the way, if you're looking for 6 signs to show you have the right opportunity, then you need to watch the video that is preceding this one. Next is that founder is thinking, will this idea actually work? That's where they are. So when you start talking to that same founder about scaling their team or leading their team, they don't have any team to lead. The only person they could lead is themselves. When that person is reading leadership books, the only effective way for them to utilize the information they gain from reading leadership books is to use those principles to lead, guess who? To lead themselves. They are not in a place to lead other people because they don't have any team yet. What about the person at the builder stage? Why an advice may or may not be relevant to them? Well, a builder has an idea. And they're now in the trenches, okay? So their world revolves around getting proof that what they have is going to work. They're thinking about, how do I get customers? They're thinking about not only how do I get like 1,000 customers, they were thinking, how do I find the first customer? How do I find the first 5 customers, the first 3 customers? They're thinking, how do I make a sale? How do I convert the interest I'm getting into sales? How do I validate my idea? So advice about company culture isn't relevant for them right now. That builder needs momentum. They do not need management theory. They're not looking for theory. They're looking for practical advice that's going to help them to get to the next stage. You begin to see what I'm talking about? Okay, let's look at the operator stage. Somebody who is at the operator stage. The operator stage already has customers, they're generating some revenue, but the chaos of early growth demands is telling on them. So what does this person need? This person needs structure. They need a system. They need to start delegating to others to begin to implement some of their ideas. They need consistency. They need time management. Now, advice on culture or management now becomes relevant to that person, because finally they're able to utilize those things because they're in a stage where it is necessary. See what I mean? Okay, let's go to the growth founder stage. The growth founder is operating at an entirely different level from someone who is still at the explorer or a builder stage. They're operating at a large level. They need a large team. You know, when I talk about a large team, it could be 10 people, or it could be 100 or 1,000 people, but they need a large team, at least bigger than who they were when they were building. This person needs leadership. This person needs to know how to hire. This person needs to know how to scale. This person needs to understand company culture. So if you think about it, the advice has not changed. Not that the advice was bad, but the advice was not given to the client or to the founder at the right stage. It is the founder that has changed, not the advice. The advice didn't change. Okay, let's consider a founder who is at the visionary stage. Now, this founder is at the stage where they're thinking about a legacy. They're trying to build something bigger than themselves. They are able to build industry partnerships. They're thinking about global issues now. They're thinking about expanding their influence. They're thinking about matters like sustainability. The founder is the one who has changed. They have moved stages. They have gone from the explorer to builder to operator to growth. Now they are at the visionary stage. Let me tell you something. Back, a few years ago, I used to read some books. To be honest, I didn't understand what they were telling me to do because my perspective was just completely different. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get what they were saying. So when I read about leadership and things like that, yeah, I understood some, but there were so many things I just didn't understand. It was just way over my head, not because I was silly. No, it was because I was not at that stage. So it was not relevant to me. Now I read those books and I'm going, this is a brilliant idea. Now I can see where I can execute on that idea. The book didn't change, but my stage shifted. And when your stage shifts, the context has evolved, and you are finally ready to receive what the book has been offering before. See, the hidden truth is this, that it's not a piece of advice that has changed, but you have changed your stages, so you're now able to implement. Okay, I'll tell you something here, that your stage determines your perspective. What feels impossible in stage 1 becomes obvious in stage 5. It's like, oh, yeah, I should be doing that. Oh, yeah, I need to employ people. Yeah, I need to learn about hiring. But when you were in stage 1, you were listening to YouTube videos on hiring. It's not relevant to you because you're not at that stage. But what feels urgent at stage 1 also, because look, you might look at somebody in stage 4 who is in the growth stage and they are paying for people to maybe design a book cover, and you're like, I'll just do it myself. Yeah, that's because your perception of the person at the growth stage is different. You're looking at them and thinking they're wasting money, but they're thinking, I need to save time. I don't have the time to be doing this, even though I can do it. I don't want to spend my time doing that because I've got better things to be thinking about. Whilst you are looking at them and saying they're wasting money. Because at the explorer and builder stage, you still have time to do those things. See, but when you get to the growth stage, you're going to do exactly what you were criticizing. You're going to do exactly that. You're going to say, well, I ain't got time to be designing book covers. Let the designer design. I'll pay them whatever. Let them just design it because I don't want to be bothered with that. Because your perception changes as you go along in the stages. Okay, let's get to the real insight. The real insight is that the advice is not wrong. The frameworks, the strategies, the lessons, they're often genuinely viable, but the timing is what's wrong. Because the most important shift a founder can make is learning to filter advice by stages. not just by quality. You cannot look at the quality of an advice and say, well, that advice has immense amount of value in it, so I must go ahead and do it. No, you cannot do that. You have to look at it and say, this advice, can I apply it to the stage that I'm in right now? And, even when you've started your business and you are creating a new product, when an advice comes, you still have to judge it based on where that product is, whether that product is actually at the explorer or that product is at the builder or the operator stage. Anyway, that seems like another video entirely. But let's go back, and I want to remind you of something. Founders don't just arrive, they evolve. Founders evolve. And it's important for you to know that the explorer is searching for the right idea and they want to validate that opportunity. The builder is chasing their first customers and they want to prove the model works. The operator is thinking about building systems and delegating to sustain growth. The growth founder is thinking about leading, hiring, and scaling. The visionary founder is thinking about influence, and also they're thinking about sustainability and shaping industries. Now, here's the point. What founder stage best describes you right now? Put it in the comment box. I would love to hear that. But remember, founders don't just arrive, they evolve. God bless you.